Welcome to the Introduction to Humio video series. This is the second in a series of 7 videos aimed at introducing you to Humio log management. This video covers the Humio User Interface, so let's get started. We'll begin by covering a few foundational concepts. First is repositories. When data is sent to Humio, it will be stored in a repository. This is how Humio organizes data. Humio repository needs are different for each Humio implementation. Sometimes there will be a repository per project or system or group of users. As you think about your repository needs, consider some of the things that repositories offer, like data retention, access control, parsers for event field extraction and timestamp extraction, in addition to the data structure to house the integrated ingested data. These are instrumental in determining the need for new repositories. We will dive deeper into parsers in our next tutorial video where we will cover ingesting data. Next is views. Humio views are similar to SQL database views. Views have no parsers and store no data, but provide a window into data across repositories. In addition to allowing you to search across multiple repositories, views offer a restricted view of events through an initial filter query if desired. Now let's take a look at the Humio User Interface. To jumpstart your Humio experience, please visit the Humio Interactive tutorial. When the tutorial is active, it will generate access log data in your sandbox repository that is provided for each user by default. For purposes of this video and simplicity of setup, I will be using a Humio Docker image install in the associated default user. When you start or log on to Humio, you will be presented with the repositories that you have access to. As you can see, there are several system repositories and a personal sandbox that I have access to in this instance. Let's go to the sandbox to walk through the Humio User Interface. At the top, we have the menu bar. Here you will find all the things you can do for this repository. We will cover each of these items in more detail in future videos. Below the menu bar, you will find the event list widget. Accessing the pull down shows a list of widgets that can comprise Humio dashboards. If Humio detects a compatible data type, compatible widgets will be shown. In this case, the default for raw data is the event list. Next is where you dive into your data via the Humio query language. There will be an entire video on the Humio query language, but for now, let's search for a domain, example.com. Just to show a quick sample search. And here, if we go to the referral domain, we can see it picked up example.com and all the events. Next to the event list widget pull down is the queries pull down. This will show both recent queries like our example.com and any saved queries that you might have saved. There is also a documentation link embedded in the product. Next up is the search time interval. The search time interval controls time boundaries for data for both static and live queries. You can use presets, or you can define your own time window or your own fixed time range. The fields list is a sampling of 200 events in the browser and not the entire result set if it is larger than 200 events. This 200 event limit can be expanded. There are 3 types of field. Metadata is the first type. Each event has some metadata attached on ingestion and is denoted by the @ sign. Tags. Tags define how events are stored and are noted by the hashtag or #sign. All other fields are called user fields. The columns below represent the fields which are displayed. The ones under the heading of the hashtag or pound sign represent the number of distinct values observed in a field or the field's cardinality. And the number under the percentage sign are the percentage of events that have this field. If you notice, by each field there are plus signs. You can add or remove these to the event list. Another thing you can do with the metadata is toggle it on and off using this button here. Across the top we have the search info section. It offers information about the search as to how many hits, its speed in both volume of gigabytes and events per second, a work score that is an internal calculation by Humio. The higher the number, the more resources used and the more expensive the query. Further over, we have a navigation panel. You can truncate fields after the first line. You can also toggle which event is on top, oldest or newest, and how they're ordered. You can toggle the full screen, as well as some export options. A dashboard widget, a saved query, or export to a file. Each event comes with an event inspection panel. When you click the event, you'll be presented with a scrollable list of the event, of the field, and its values. And you can also look at the raw event itself. Another handy item is the plus sign at the left of each event, showing context. Say that you ran across an event that had an intriguing error, or it was just an event of interest. By selecting certain fields and then clicking search in context, you can show events around this particular field in which there's nothing here, but it's just and it highlights it in green, so it's really not a good data set to show. But it does illustrate some of the power that you can have by showing groups of events in context together. That's it for this video. I want to thank you for your time and for your interest in Humio, and stay tuned for more.